In this video, I'm going to be rebuilding the bucket seats on my 66 Corvette. Been working on it for 14 months already, and I'm just about ready for the seats. I've already taken the upholstery off, cleaned up these frames, put some fresh paint on them. Here's the upholstery that came off of them. It's actually still attached to the foam inserts. And this upholstery really isn't too bad. This one here has a little tiny hole right there and a scrape across it there. So I decided to go ahead and replace them. I've got new foam inserts, new seat covers. Of course, this is all the hardware that came off of them when I disassembled them. This is my seat covers in here, my new foam inserts, seat backs, got brand new. And I bought these from Top Flight Automotive. This is a seat cover installation kit that I bought. It's got all the wires and various hardware that I'm going to need, I hope. And these are my seat cushions. I believe these are the seat bottoms. And then this would be the seat back right here. First thing I'm going to do is feed a wire through this listing all the way around. And these wires that came in the kit, there's 3 different lengths of them. The longest one and the shortest one go on the seat back, and the middle one will go on the seat bottom. This is the seat bottom, so I'm going to take this middle wire out. This long one and short one will go on the seat back. And then I'm going to cut this listing right down here and right down here so I can feed the wire through, come out on the other side. And I'm just going to cut the listing itself about 3/8 of an inch in there. I'm not going to cut into this stitching right here. And then up in the corners, you got to kind of push on it with one hand and get it bent around the corner, worked around the corner with the other hand. Okay, so once you've got the wires hanging out on both ends, then you can kind of wiggle around a little bit. I'm going to try and actually bend the wire, put a little bit of a forced bend in the wire around these corners. Okay, that's good for that one. Now this is the the seat back. And it'll be the same thing. I'm gonna take the smaller wire, go through here, and then the longer wire eventually will go through this outer listing when this folds around the foam and stuff. So for right now, just gonna do the same thing here. Okay, that looks pretty good. I've got these little clips that are going to attach. I've got to put them through the listing and under the wire, and then these are going to eventually pull through the foam and get tied down, and that's what will keep this bead here down into the foam so you have the proper contour. And on the seat back, I'm going to put 4 clips across the top, kind of 2 right up by the corners and then 2 more here, and then 3 clips down the side on each side. Take and poke a hole underneath your wire through the listing. And then if you also will bend that just a little bit, it'll make it easier to go through there. And I'll just bend this back a little bit, just like that. And here's what this looks like with all the clips on there. And these particular clips here are the 1.5" long ones. They in the kit you get 3 different lengths. You get some 1 inch, some 1.5", and some 2 inch. But all the ones around the seat back are the 1.5" clips. It's going to be a similar procedure on the seat bottom. There's going to be 4 clips across the top, except these clips will be the 2 inch long ones. Then there's going to be 1 clip on each side here that'll be an 1.5" clip, and then a couple of clips down here, and those will be the 1 inch clips. Here's what this one looks like. And it's a good idea to go around and just make sure that you've got the clip underneath the wire, that you're not just in the listing only. Now I'm going to lay the seat bottom upholstery on the seat bottom foam, and I'm going to get it right around the edges here, kind of lined up, pulled up, centered as best I can. And I'm going to kind of peel this back a little bit and see if the listing, get it centered where the groove is going to go. Just like that. And I'm going to make a mark right down in the bottom of the groove, right where that clip is going to be. Make a mark right down in that groove, right where the clip is centered. Now I've got little marks everywhere those clips are going to go through. I'm just going to take an awl and poke right through there. On the back side, I'm just going to go right around here. So I know where the clip goes through and I know where it's coming out. Seat back, pretty much just the same as the other one. Got marks on both sides. The next step is I'm going to lay some burlap on here. And from the factory, they had a piece of burlap with all these little spring steel wires laced through it. And I was going to replace the burlap because it's got a lot of holes in it. And actually these seats have been reupholstered I don't know how many times before, but there was only one of them had a piece of this on it. So I didn't have all the little wires that I need. And you can actually buy these pieces of burlap, and you need 4 of them, with the wires already laced in them. It's like 120 bucks. But I was just going to go down to my local upholstery shop, supply shop, and pick up some more wire. And I've got a roll of burlap, and I was going to lace it myself and recreate them. But when I got down there, they told me about this product. This stuff is called Flexilator, and it's the same diameter spring wire going through here. It's just through these little tubes instead of burlap. So I bought a small roll of it. It comes in a roll. I bought 5 feet of it and cut it into 4 pieces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay some burlap on here, then lay this on here, put my upholstery on the bottom, pull the clips through, and then lay another layer of burlap on top of it. This is some spray adhesive that I'm using. Got to let that set for a couple minutes and get tacky. And the way you know when it's ready to go, if you just put your knuckle into it, if the adhesive comes off onto your skin, it's still too wet. So once you can touch it, nothing comes on your skin, it feels tacky, then it's ready to bond. Okay, it's ready to go. It's been a few minutes. And you just center it side to side and on the end. And this piece of burlap was cut, I cut it to 20 inches wide, 40 inches long. Okay, ready to push this down on there. Now I'm going to set my upholstery on there. Get it kind of centered side to side, flush with the foam across the front here. And I'll pull this back and get all my little clips kind of headed down towards the little marks that I made in the foam. Okay, then I'm going to turn the whole thing over. I've got this little tool. I just made it. It's just out of some wire, like a coat hanger. It's a little maybe heavier gauge than that. But just got a nice handle and then a little hook on it that I can grab a hold of those clips and pull them up through the foam. And I can see my red circles where I marked where the hole came through. Allow me to poke this right on through. I'm going to scoot this out to the edge of the table a little bit. And then I can let this flop down a little bit. I can see in there where the hook is. And then I bent up these wires. I think, I don't know for sure, but I think maybe that installation kit should have had this wire in it, but it didn't. So I just made this wire. This is actually some welding wire for acetylene torch welding. And this is about, I don't know, 1/8 inch or so diameter. But it's going to lay right around here, kind of right in line with my red marks that I made for my clips to come through. And I'm just going to pull this through, and I'm getting ahead of myself. Got to get this on here first. Get it centered. And I want it about 3 inches from the front of this foam. So that'll be about right there. Just like that. Okay, just like that, I think. I'm gonna push all this down, pull up on here, pull my clip right up through the foam, if I can. Okay, just like that. Now I can slide stuff around, get it just where I want it. Slide this back a little bit. That's good. That's good. Side to side, I'm pretty good. Okay, I think that's good right there. So now I'll go right through the next one. Get into here and hook up to my clip. Okay, there's two. Okay, last one. And I'm gonna have to trim these wires off after I get it in the frame. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now, I'm going to double check it. Make sure I'm in the little groove in the foam all the way around. I think that's pretty good. Now I'm going to just put some glue on here and fold this right on top of itself. You can see where each little clip attaches. And then I'm going to take some scissors and just kind of cut this right around, even with the foam around here. Now I'm going to pull this upholstery around over the frame, over the foam, and then I can set the foam on the frame. And there's a little seam around here, and I want to make sure the foam is tucked inside of that little seam. Okay, that's pretty good. And then I'm gonna slide this frame in there. Okay, and I need to make sure these two welt cords coming up here are centered on the frame, and they're not right now. The upholstery needs to be pulled that way a little bit. There we go. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Now, I've got all these little S-hooks. 5 of them go across the back, 4 across the front, and 3 down each side. And what they're going to do is the fat or the big side of the hook goes on just like that, and then this is going to fold over, and the skinny side is going to push down right down there like that. So I'm just going to start right here in the middle. Okay, and then this will pull up here and fold around. If I can get the material stretched that far. Okay, I'm going to put this on the floor. Put a little weight on it. It might help get it bent around there. I'm going to put 4 across the front here. I'm going to just start. If you try and get them on this, going around the corners, it's really, really difficult. So I'm just going to get this flat area here. Seems to work a little better if you do the outside ones first and then work your way in. Okay. Okay, not too bad, not too bad. Got a little pucker right there, but I'll set them out in the sun, let some heat get on them. And if that won't pull it into place, I will take a steamer and steam them. This side's not bad. Like I said, a little pucker right there. Now I'm ready for the seat back. And remember, I've already got all my marks made where the pins are going to come through. Now I'll put this flexilator in here and just make sure your wires are perpendicular to your springs, which go across this way. I'm just going to kind of center it from side to side, and from here up to here. So that looks pretty good right there. with that wire flexilator being sandwiched between the burlap, and the burlap is all kind of glued down to itself, why it's not going anywhere. Okay. Now I can lay my spring in here. Now I'm ready to pull my clips up through here and hook them. I'm going to be hooking them to these wires on the side here and across the front on this spring here. All the clips are attached now. Down the sides, across the front here, you can see I went to this spring, but down the sides, I went to this wire here. There's one there, one there, one there. Similar on the other side. These wires sticking out here from that listing on the other side of the foam, I'm just going to take and put a bend in them just to get them out of the way. Now the longest of those 3 wires we had in the kit are going to get laced right through here. And I'm just pushing it through till it's kind of even on both sides. That looks pretty good. Now what I've got to do is pull this listing around and get it hog-tied to these springs, or hog-ringed to these springs anywhere I can along the perimeter. And it's going to be easier if I put this on the floor and stand on it to compress that foam than to try and get this muscled over by hand. Okay, that looks good. Now it's just going to be the same thing going down the sides and across the back. In fact, I'm going to do the back next. We got one of these straight pieces of wire that's going to go through this portion of the listing. Just get it kind of centered in there. That looks good. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put it down on the floor and step on it and wrap it around here and tie it to this spring rail right here. I've got clips onto every one of these springs all the way around. Now these wires that went through this listing, you can see they're kind of long, hanging out the back here. So what I'm going to do is just bend them over this way on both sides. Okay, I believe that's all tied down pretty nice. Those look pretty good. This gap here is even all the way across. Tucks down over the back of the seat there like it's supposed to. So just a little modification required to this cover. These back covers came from Alnock Corvette interiors. And other than needing to relocate these back two holes, why they look real nice and fit real nice. Now I've got one more thing to do. I've got to put my stops in the back of the seat here. Okay, I believe that completes the seat back. And once this is mounted onto the seat bottom and I get it in the car, well, I'll adjust these for the proper angle. And the last thing I need to do to these seat bottoms is put these little stops, right, one on each side here. You can see the hole right there. So I'm just going to take and try and poke right down through there. Okay, and then the seat back will go in here and the arms will come down here. I got to poke holes in the side of this. And there's one bucket seat ready to go. And except for this little wrinkle right here, it looks really good. Maybe over time that'll lessen a little bit, I hope so. And here they are installed, and I'd say they look pretty good. Still have a little wrinkle right down in that left front corner there. I've got that actually on both sides, so I think they were just, when they were stitched up at the factory, that's just how they came out.